Hey, what's up, fam? We're not just a podcast anymore. We're media now.
Yeah.
We're media now. Oh,
Mhm.
Let's get the vibe right. Welcome to the show. Bison Spotlight. Chip and B smooth, bringing heat to your ears. He washing the mix, facing down all fears. From the court to the crowd where the legends are born. Howard University, we're breaking the norm. Bison Nation stands strong through thick and thin. Basketball vibes, it's more than a win. Every dribble, every shot, it's a story to tell. Ray of excellence, we ringing the bell. Chip Washington's the name, self-proclaimed fanatic. In the heart of the game, his passion's emphatic. Come on, let's ride with the Bison crew. Passion and pride in everything we do. Hoops and dreams, we're reaching for the stars. Bison Brothers podcast is who we are. Come on, let's ride with the Bison crew. Passion and pride in everything we do. Hoops and dreams, we're reaching for the stars. Bison Brothers podcast is who we are.
Welcome to season 2, episode 5 of the Bison Brothers Basketball Podcast, your number one home for all things Howard Bison basketball. My name is Chip Washington, the self-professed fanatic.
what up, Chip? And I'm officially media now, so I am Brian B. Smooth. Still the lover of all things Howard, lover of all things basketball, and after this weekend, the lover of all things media.
Media. You see that? Media. It's media.
media. What's up, man?
Yeah.
Welcome back for another week, Chip. Man, this is a special week, man. We had some cool history in the making this week, so we definitely are going to have some fun today as we recap. We have 6 games to recap, so we're going to move through them as quickly as we can. You know, we like to chit chat a little bit, but ultimately, we want to lock in on a few things for you in this episode. So if you're tuning in with us and you've been rocking with us all week, you know, all season, you know how it works. We actually do a recap of all the games. This time we're going to start with the men, and then we'll go with the ladies, and then we'll have our not so subtle over and under reactions. You know, we have a tendency to be hyperbolic in our predictions for the future based on the limited information we receive. And then in this episode, we're going to look ahead because history is the theme this week. So we have some history going on with our men. We have some history going on with our ladies. And as you saw early on, with us becoming media credentialed, there's some history with Bison Brothers basketball. It's all the games here. But before we jump in and give you a little bit of context for the show, Chip, please let people know why we do what we do with the Bison Brothers basketball podcast.
Bison Nation, it doesn't stop. We want you all to support these championship teams, this Dream Factory championship culture, Mecca made Bison behavior, and you can support in so many ways. You can donate to the Mecca Society. That is Howard's name, image, and likeness collective. You could do that by going to the meccasociety.org. And as a special note, we have an anonymous donor that is going to offer $25,000 as long as we meet and match the $25,000 to the Mecca Society. So get in, use the code, just make it happen. The Mecca Society. You can also give through the Bison Express Booster Club, another important giving avenue. And you can do that through hubison.com. And you can also give through Fanstake at fanstake.com and use the code MECCA25. And as always, and as we have seen you do so far, Bison Nation, go to the games. When they're at the Bird, when they're on the road, they said they love seeing Bison Nation out in the stands. Continue to support by butts in seats. And as always, please continue to tell everybody about the number one home for all things Howard Bison basketball, the Bison Brothers Basketball Podcast. You can hear us on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple, and you can follow us on Instagram at Bison Brothers Basketball. So do all of that. Hit the like button, hit the
Yeah.
subscribe button while you're
Yeah.
listening. And we're about to get into
Oh,
this fantastic show.
whoo, my goodness. Chip, you always get my heart gets all caught up in it, man, because this was all a dream, literally 1 year ago. And now we're talking season 2. We're making business trips. You did a great job of getting Duke University to recognize we are a legitimate media outfit. If I can recall, it was probably the only outfit that was dedicated to Howard sports in the entire venue. Bro, we're doing some magical things and some special things, not only for Howard and Howard fans, but just the culture. We're doing it for the culture,
Indeed.
bro.
Indeed.
I love it. I love it. So before we jump into our recaps, as we told you, this is a bit of a historical moment for many parts of the show. And so to set up the recaps, we want to make sure that we do a good job of just giving you a bit more context of why is this historical? It's just basketball, right? We're just playing basketball. And as you know, we're in the non-conference part of our schedule where we go off and play as many teams as we can. We learn a lot about, the mix and the makeup of our teams. But this particular weekend, it was filled with a couple of moments that we just want to make sure people don't miss. Right. So Chip, we made a field trip to Durham, North Carolina. Thanks for coming up to where I live in Charlotte, about 2.5 hours away. You don't live 2.5 hours away. You live a lot further away. But we made a special trip to Durham because we wanted to participate in what was being built as the Brotherhood Run. The Brotherhood Run. Can you tell folks what you know about the Brotherhood Run?
So, as you all know, and if you don't know, if you're a new listener, one of the new subscribers and learning about Howard University basketball on the men's side, head coach Kenneth Blakeney is a former Duke athlete, Duke graduate. He played on the 91 and 92 championship teams. And so Duke University men's basketball, they have a brotherhood. They look out for each other no matter when you played, from Kyrie Irving to Kenneth Blakeney to Jason Tatum. There is a strong brotherhood that goes on with Duke. And so a lot of Duke alums end up being coaches. And so under the wizardry of Coach K, where the trees branched out from under Coach K, they do what's called the Brotherhood Run. And so they invite teams that are headed by former Duke alums as coaches to come back for a 3-day tournament where the coaches of these teams that are former Duke alums all play. I guess you can kind of call it like a round robin tournament at the historic Cameron Indoor Stadium. And so that is what we traveled up to be a part of the Brotherhood Run at Cameron Indoor Stadium.
It's fantastic. And so thank you for that excellent explanation, Chip. And again, if you're new to the show, we do talk about Howard basketball, men and women, and we also talk about what's good for basketball. I know our third co-host, E. Wash, is probably still traveling back because he actually took in Cameron Indoor as both a fan and part of media. And so I know he was super excited to be in the hallowed halls of where a lot of basketball has been played and a lot of championship banners hang to this day. So we had to make that trip, and we're going to recap in a little bit, the part of the round robin that Chip mentioned, which is, our time against Niagara, as well as our finale against Duke. And it was really special, really cool. I have a few highlights to share with you all. All right. So the next piece, because we want to set it up too, is that our ladies have started on a very, very good start of their non-conference schedule. And as you know, we try to measure what we're doing in the non-conference to prepare for the Meac conference schedule, which then leads to our tournament and hopefully a bid for the March Madness. But last year, because we actually made it to the championship, yet again, we did not win, but we also got a bid for one of a postseason tournament, mainly because we had a pretty good record and we played some folks. So it's very important how we do in the non-conference schedule to see about seeding for post-conference bids. And so, Chip, I know for us, it's been pretty significant because in just a few short games, we're now 6-1, I believe, And
Yes.
that's one of the best starts under Coach Ty Grace's leadership here for the last 10 years, one of the best. And what's historically significant about what's happening right now with Howard women's basketball?
So the historical significance is not only did we start 6-1, but I think it was 2 weeks ago, the ladies were they were ranked number 24 on the top 25 mid-major college rankings. That was probably when they were around 4-0. They kept winning, and now they are number 12. So they jumped from 24 to 12. So we have the number 12 team in the top 25 mid-major rankings. That is
Wow.
huge.
Wow.
Huge. Major.
Yeah.
Major.
Yeah.
We're yeah.
That's it. A little later in the show, we'll tell you why that's major, because again, we're going to recap the games that allowed us to still be enjoying the newly secured rankings in the mid-major. And there's a matchup we're looking forward to. We don't usually circle too many matchups this early in the season, but we're going to make sure before we close the show, we just give you a reason to maybe make a trip to the Burr after the holiday. So please stay tuned for that. And so before, again, there was the men, historically significant, playing with Duke in the Brotherhood Run. The ladies are mid-major ranked, and they're playing some of the best basketball we've seen from the program in a number of years, especially under Ty Grace. But then it was also significant for us as Bison Brothers basketball. And I'll take this. I'll start this one because Chip is too modest. So we, whenever we are faced with an opportunity to represent the podcast, we tend to, do what we can to be in the building. And most times, because of the fans we are, the fanatics that we are, we usually just buy tickets and then work our way to positions. We get to shoot arounds, where we have access to the teams in a way that no other outlet really has. So whenever we're in town, we know we can go to the shoot arounds, we can see the practices, sit in film sessions. We're part of the program, which makes us uniquely positioned to tell some really cool stories about Howard basketball. But this time around, because of maybe the cost of the tickets, this might be the most expensive basketball ticket I paid for in a while. We did reach out, and our fearless lead host, I call him, Chip, was able to put together a really nicely worded plea and said, hey, guess what? We have this podcast. It's growing thanks to you all being subscribers. We're over 1,400 subscribers and counting on YouTube, almost 5,000 followers on Instagram. We threw a few stats at them, say, hey, we're growing and we're telling stories about Howard. And you know what? You know what Duke did? The Duke program said, we're going to give you all media credentials, right? So if you don't understand how important that is, I just want you to know that the minute we had that, we had more access than we could ever dream of. Not only to the beginning and the middle of the games, we were courtside for games at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Just put that in perspective. We could have been up in the rafters, but we were courtside for both the Niagara and the Duke games. And because of how big it was, we did get the chance to go to the post-game press conference in the media room, the Bill Brill media room at Duke. And I don't know if we'll tee it up today, but we're going to show a clip on our YouTube for our YouTube subscribers. You'll see Chip Washington asking a question to Coach John Shire from Duke. That was pretty poignant, and John had a pretty good response to Chip's question. So if you don't think we're official now, just know that historically we are now setting the bar for not only how we tell stories and where we tell stories, but what access we should have to do so. Right. So Chip,
And
I want you to share your feelings here, man, because this is real. This was a big moment for us as a program. What do you think?
I want to also tease, like you said, with our other co-hosts, because we were in Cameron, and they have the Cameron crazies. And for all of you E-Wash fans, he is he's a wild man. He's
Wow, boy.
and so we sent him, although he was media and he had credentials, we sent him as a spy to infiltrate the Cameron Crazies. And we just want to show you a little bit of what
Yeah,
Ewash
show
was
'em.
doing.
Wow.
You can see him holding up the Bison Brothers basketball poster in the Cameron Crazies, and we'll give you a little close up so you can see. Look
Oh,
at
this
that.
guy. This guy.
Look at that. Ewash hassling, terrorizing the Cameron Crazies inside a Cameron indoor stadium. So we, not only are we media, but we're infiltrators. You can see us just about anywhere. So
I'm just saying, if you know how hard it is, thank you, Chip, for sharing that, man. For those watching, for those listening on Apple, just know that we'll put some pictures out on Instagram for you to check out. But just imagine going to Cameron Indoor, and there's a section that the students are normally in, but because of the holidays, they had more of their alum all in there to hang out with their kids and stuff. But imagine us being in probably the most sacred part of the hallowed ground of Cameron Indoor, where they actually have fans that stand the entire game and they can't sit down because they're on camera the whole game. And imagine Ewash being not only brave enough, but strong enough to stand for a 2-hour game plus an hour before the game and actually engage with a lot of fans. So we're looking forward to some other stories. I know he shared a few with us, but as we get into the season, we'll probably tap back in because he's got a unique vantage point of being amongst the crowd.
Yeah.
This is awesome, man. So again, welcome to the show. If you're just tuning in, I'm B Smooth. You got Chip Washington here, Bison Brothers basketball, coming at you with another set of weekly recaps and insights about the games. And so after this quick break, we're going to get into our first set of recaps because we have three. We got three for the guys and we got three for the ladies. And so make sure you stay tuned, buckle in, and keep following. Hit the like button and subscribe. All right. Hey. I feel like I'm back in the bird every time that clip plays, man. So welcome back. Welcome back to the show. I got Chip Washington. I'm your boy B Smooth, Bison Brothers basketball. And we're into the thick of the show here, man. This is one of our favorite parts to bring you some quick recaps from our games. Mentioned in the opening, we are going to start with our men. This last week I think there's a lot of games we have just before the holiday. So we're going to share some scores and some thoughts as we move through them. I'll pull up the first one here, Chip. So we got ready for the big Brotherhood weekend. We talked about a minute ago, the Brotherhood weekend a minute ago. And we actually, before we got to Durham, made a quick trip down to Stetson, down in Orlando. And the Hatters, they call themselves, they absolutely gave us a nice tune-up before the game. Key thing is that was our first away game this season. So we had hosted our first 4 so games at home. So it was good to finally get a game on the road and see what we were made of. And the final score here was 64-60. But if you had watched the entire game, you would know that it didn't feel as close as that score actually indicated. So Chip, I know I don't want to belabor the point, but give me some of your quick insights here and see if there's anything we could learn from the Hatters and what we did with the Hatters down in Florida.
Well, it's interesting that you use the word quick insights because the first half, the fellas started off very slow. So that really was that was the game. It was first half was 31-21, and we were on the wrong side of that math. So I don't know if the traveling down or what caused the fellas to start off super slow, but that was the game. We outplayed them in the second half, but it looked like we were still on the bus in the first half. And that's what doomed us. Anytime you start slow and you down 10, you got to work too hard to try to get back in the game. And so we just, my estimation, we just ran out of time. If that second half squad had given us 50% of what they had in the second half, we probably would have walked out with the W. But
I agree with that. It's we've had some notorious slow starts most of the season. We haven't really jumped out, and we seem to kind of have to warm up before we get into the game. And Stetson didn't, give us anything. They basically jumped out on us pretty early, to your point, and not only took a 10-point lead at halftime, but at some points were up by way more than that. What I loved is that for me, the quick takeaway was that the mainstay, Bryce Harris, our preseason Meac Player of the Year, continues to show that he's a star player, and I'm glad that he's back fully healthy because he plays like he wants it every time. He gave us 26, so almost half the points came from him. But we saw some other folks show up. I think Okoji, he played really well, gave us some really good rebounds and points as well. I know that Alex Cotton out of Texas gave us some double-digit points. I know he's been sneaky good and looking for him to come into form. But, the person that, really snuck up on the table for me is our good friend of the program, Jeremiah Johnson, freshman sensation. He wound up with about 9 points in that game. And, based on the rotations, it's not common that we see a lot of freshmen get a lot of playing time, especially with as many grad transfers and the transfer portal. Howard's still one of the few places where you see freshmen actually get some significant playing time if they're able to play. And so I think that was the bright spot to see him. I know he was part of the unit that helped close out the game to get within 4 points. So for me, I saw some heart starting to form in the early part of the season. And we still were playing with a limited lineup, but, there was a group of them that got together at the end that made me say, we got something here. And, we, our eyes are on conference play as well as trying to make another run to the big dance. But yeah, I mean, Stetson gave us a lot and made me a little nervous about going into Duke and Durham because I said, if we can't play Stetson better than this, we're gonna run out the court.
Yeah.
So we did learn a lot. Right?
Yeah.
All right. So
and you got a theme going with Jeremiah Johnson as we head into Niagara. So
yeah. So I'm pulling it up here. So as we get into the weekend, as we told you earlier in the show, if you're just joining us now, we're talking about recaps and we're getting into the second of 3 games with the men. It was the first game we had in Durham, as Chip told us at the beginning of the show here. It was part of a round robin tournament, the Brotherhood Run, as you see on the flyer here. It was another game where we had a really slow start, right?
Yeah.
And the final score, again, actually felt like we won by more than 10. Final score was 80-70, but it was definitely one of those games where I believe we saw some more folks emerge as part of the nucleus of the program. So Chip, what did you see? What are some of the things that you want to let people know we saw, especially as you had supreme media access and sideline abilities, right?
Yes. So, and I hope I don't take some of your analysis by going first, because I know we both saw some of the same things, but the depth, the utilization of the depth is going to, since you have me on the train now, we're getting ready for the Meac conference. And so I saw, I could see where the going up and down the roster that, we saw Julian get some time and, Jeremiah in a limited role, and we'll roll a few highlights, but that young man had 7 steals in 16 minutes. That is phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
His impact, Coach Ongley and KB talk about the EGBs. That's what they look for when they're recruiting, the energy generating behaviors. 7 steals in 16 minutes is pure EGB. So, when he got in the game and just everybody, every day, once we kind of got over the slow start, the EGB behavior kicked in from everybody and allowed it, to turn around. And so we'll show you a few highlights just so you can kind of see, what the fellas look like. And we show you an example of that EGB. But that's what I saw, the depth helping us, and it made me go, oh yeah, this is going to be nice for conference play.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking over my notes here, and I'm not going to duplicate what you said. I agree with you. The depth is what I saw. The part that really stuck out to me was that we saw two of our what I consider to be core players of the program really start to emerge in that game, not just from a points perspective, but just a presence. And that would be Cam Gillis, I call it our guard. I won't call him just a point guard because you tried to convince me that he should be playing other positions, but all around guard. He actually came through, scored really well, and had a lot of assists. 12.6 assists and 4 rebounds. He was in there mixing it up pretty good. And Charlotte stand up for Travell Bryson. He actually put on a bit of a show during the game. It's like he told us in the interview last summer that he takes him a little while to get going, and then once he feels it, he starts to emerge. And I'm starting to see him get comfortable. So seeing him step up along with everyone else we've come to rely on. You mentioned Jeremiah and everyone else. Again, we have not only a 5 that can get going, but we also have 6, 7 deep off the bench that can really get us going. So I love your reference to the EGBs because we play gritty defense. I think that's the thing I would say is that the offense wasn't as pretty as I thought it might be. We have some shooters, but they don't always look like it. But the defense was superb. That's what got us back into the game. That's what allowed us to pull ahead and stay ahead. We actually almost outscored Niagara by 20 points in the second half. So we put up 51 points to their 33, and it was purely on aggressive defense and just being opportunistic. So very cool. You want to show a couple of highlights here, man?
Well, because we were media, we had access, and so we want to show you some of the highlights from the game. It's all, like Sports Center. So give me a few highlights from some of the fellas.
Let's do that. Let's do it.
Yes. Big boy basketball. Big boy.
Shout out to Julian Johnson. Oh, I like this highlight here. Yeah. That's Zay right there.
Oh, EGB.
Oh, I like that steal.
Yep. And we'll come back to that.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, Alex Cotton.
Looking.
Raining threes.
Raining threes.
Above the rim.
Too small. I love it. I love it, bro.
Above the rim.
Oh, that's the best. So go ahead.
Yeah, I want to highlight because to tell the story, like you said, you got to know that we were coming back most of the game, and the EGB behavior. So as we put it here, you'll see Zay hits the shot. The momentum was coming, and then Jeremiah Johnson did something that it may have been the turn of the game and momentum. We'll just look at it and kind of focus in. So shots up, we're coming back. Other team, look how lazy they look. Boom, EGB, filling the ball, and 4 points just like that. You almost can see that body language, like, oh man, this guy, like,
incredible.
Yeah,
incredible.
That was you could feel it. The momentum changed once he got that steal. You could see his energy. He was like, yes, this is what I'm here for. So, because he, spoiler alert, he won Meac Rookie of the Week.
He did. Shout out to Jeremiah. Shout out to Jeremiah. He's on the radar. And again, in our league, as well as at our program, very rare that freshmen get this type of opportunity unless they are playing well above their abilities. And, Jeremiah has come in from winning not one, but 2 championships in high school. So you can see that championship pedigree. That's what you told me while we were sitting there on press row saying, hey, this guy comes from championship stock. So it's not a surprise to see him doing what he's doing out there, making it happen. So super exciting, man. Super exciting. So, of course, it was the first win for Howard and Cameron indoor, not necessarily against Duke, but it was against a really good opponent that, based on our matchup, it could have gone either way. And the way the game started, it could have been a tough road trip back home. But, It was good. We actually enjoyed it. As you can see in the highlights, everybody who played really well. And I think my only takeaway is that, the team is starting to gel in a way that even in our championship seasons a few years past, you didn't see this level of camaraderie this early. And so I love the fact that I'm seeing that early camaraderie, even with the younger guys, because they're going to be the nucleus, hopefully, for a little bit, in our future here. So,
and just one teaser, if you want to hear from the guys after that Niagara win, keep subscribing to the podcast, because you'll hear them on our After the Buzzer,
that's right.
Bison Brothers basketball podcast post-game show. So tease, stay on the channel.
That's
Look
it.
for the After the Buzzer.
Hit the subscribe button right now. You'll catch a few. We'll do a couple of clips to let you know what it's about on Instagram. But yes, After the Buzzer, a new feature of the program. Thank you, Chip, for giving us an ability to provide post-game pressers for our players as well as our coaches. They do take a moment to come back, especially after wins. They're usually super excited to share what's going on. And it's also an element of our live shows when we do that as well. So we get a chance to get real-time reactions when we're recapping live. So definitely After the Buzzer, you're going to have some really good stuff from the players from after that game. So what that did for us is that it not only allowed us to be 1-0 at Cameron, it also allowed us to quickly sleep and get ready for the ultimate matchup, which was against Duke, the number 5 team in the nation today. And so as I flash up the score from that game, I can't tell if it was closer or more a larger deficit than we thought. I think the only thing I could take away from a 93-56 loss is that, according to Vegas, if you bet on us, we won.
Okay.
We beat the point spread. We beat the point spread by at least 4 or 5 points, and that was due to tenacious play down to the last second. And we actually generated a lot of fouls. Duke committed a lot of fouls in the second half, trying to just keep us from getting to the basket because, there was no quit in us. And so, not to steal any thunder here, the team knew that we were going against a team that's considered to be one of the best in the nation, arguably in contention for Final Four and potentially a national championship. So this is a great measuring stick for us. Again, non-conference gives us a chance to see where we stand against some of the best competition in the country. And, as we start off here, we really got away from us in the first half. Again, a slow start was really bad for us here. But what was cool was that we actually were pretty much neck and neck in the second half, and they kept their starters in the game a lot longer than I thought after they were up by a lot of points. So kudos to our team for making it a game from let's not quit. And so Chip, I know we did try to go through, because at some point, because it's such a special thing to do, every player who was eligible to play played. And I believe every person eligible actually wound up in the stat box somehow. Not everybody scored, but everybody either got a rebound, some assists, some steals. But we actually got to see, to your point earlier, the depth of our team. We actually see that we have talent, probably in different levels of readiness to play more minutes. But it was good to see the entire team that was eligible play. Your thoughts, man, about that?
So my thoughts, like you said, the same. We're kind of outsized, right? I think that was the kind of the biggest thing that hurt us. And in that first half, we missed a lot of shots that had we, had those going in, it could have been a slightly different story. But that size really, I mean, Bryce, as strong as he is, to have to contend with, Cam Boozer, who's 6'9", and I don't know how much more he weighs than Bryce. But like I said, we had the skill level to compete, but that's the size that they had across the board just really affected us. So, but like you said, to your point, we turned it around in the second half, but that first half deficit was just too much to overcome. But we got a few highlights from the fellas that we could show.
Yeah, let's show those.
Yeah, uplift Bison Nation. Let's look at our Bison competing here.
That's right.
Against Duke.
Love it.
Cam going in. Give me some.
Very good. Get some.
What is this here? Travell with the fadeaway.
Fadeaway.
Net.
Yeah, Travell actually had 13 points that game, man.
That's right.
You could tell he was very happy to be back home for a little bit. Rice for three.
With the Alex Cotton with the fadeaway. Give me that.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Fantastic. So
we
there
got,
was definitely
more. We got more. We got,
absolutely.
Subscribe to the channel. Check us out on Instagram. We'll release some more of those highlights. We just want to give you a little bit so you can see that the fellas were competing and trying to do their thing. So
yeah, I'm excited, Chip. And again, for the takeaway, the historical significance was we were definitely going against folks in the Brotherhood, and shout out to Coach John Shire and Coach Ty Thornton, who used to be part of Howard, the Howard program just last year, and even Chris Caraway. All of them were first class and made sure that we were well taken care of while we were at Duke. And so, we got more clips for you, more insights. Matter of fact, I believe we're going to drop the press conference that we were able to have with both Kenny Blakeney and Coach John Shire. Chip is apparently a fan of Ted Lasso, so for those of you who watch Ted Lasso, you'll get the fact that he was deadpan and introducing us as media.
Trent Grimm. For all the Ted Lasso fans, you'll see my Trent Grimm mocking in the press conference. But also as a teaser, KB Coach KB's answers in that press conference will provide more insight as to where we're headed and what he's thinking in terms of going into conference play. So teaser, look for that on both YouTube and Instagram as we release some of that post-game interview stuff.
That's fantastic.
Because we're media.
We're absolutely media. We're media now. We're not going back. So listen, guys did a phenomenal job. Obviously, the road trip record-wise was 1-2, but it's still for us. I say we don't lose, we learn. And so I believe every loss gave us some learning about our current profile, the pride that's starting to build, collective pride for the program, and again, a few folks emerged. Like I said, shout out to Jeremiah being freshman of the week in the Meac. We're showing that we got more talent. Bryce continues to be kind of the bellwether of the team. How he goes is how we go. But seeing Travell step up a little bit more, seeing Alex Cotton get more comfortable in his role, I think we're starting to see some formings of a nucleus for the team.
And hearing whispers that Cedric might be close to coming back. Could be a couple of weeks, but we're doing all of this without, as KB calls, maybe the second best player in the conference.
In the Meac, yeah. So we did talk with him. He's anxious to get back. I'm hoping he can get back before we get to conference play. We just want him to get back well because we're looking for him to really bring a lot. But
don't rush it.
Don't rush it. We got time for you, but you're absolutely right, man. It's crazy looking at the stat sheet. The only person that didn't get in was Cedric because he's hurt. That's the good news. And all the other people who got a chance to play, it looked like they really enjoyed having that moment at Cameron Indoor. So really cool. So let's shift gears here now because again, the guys did what they did. Thank you for giving us not only an opportunity to travel to Durham to support you, but also the media access allowed us to really get inside the hoop and make sure that we could talk to the folks, not only with our program, but even with Duke and understand what's happening there. So very exciting time.
Do you want to give Bison Nation your video and highlights? Because from the Duke game, the Travell dunking, I think you have it there in the list.
Well, you have it in there, but you already did some, so I'm not going to double dip. But I will release it. I'll release it. I know.
All right.
I know.
Tease.
We got more highlights that we can shake a stick at, and the thing that Chip is trying to get out of me is that the soundtrack for the show is coming pretty soon. We have a few songs that we've written that help us make sure that you know that we're not just fanatics, but we create the ambiance as well. So depending on where we are in the show, we may drop it right before the end of the show just so you can catch a little taste of that. But playlist coming soon. You'll be able to check it out and hopefully vibe with us. But yeah, thanks for that shout out, Chip. You hit me with the right highlights. I wasn't going to double dip. But we do have that's why we have these other channels so we can share people what we're doing. So let's move to the ladies, because the ladies definitely have given us something to think about. Remember, as we talked about it, welcome to the show. We talk about how historically significant it is. Our start with our women, 6-1. We're going to talk about the games that led up to that record here based on the last week. And so first up, we have the game that actually gave us the one. I'm interested to hear Chip's take here, because this was going into this. I think, Chip, you said something like, I don't see anybody on the schedule that we should lose to. Right. And kind of like a commentator who says, you haven't missed any free throws.
Yes.
As soon as we said it. So we may be the jinx. We may be the jinx that we may have to talk our way out of. I hope Ty Grace gives us more access after this episode. So we did go against VCU, a really good opponent in Richmond, right after starting off at a really strong winning record and no losses. And so let's dive into it, Chip. So what do we see during this game? What do we see during this game?
I got two quick lines that for me were the determining factors as to why we lost. Missed free throws.
Okay.
And VCU's Mary Anna Asari. She was not to be denied in this. You can see it's 69-66. This was a tight game. It went down to the wire, and Mary Ann Asari from VCU made one more play than us, and with our missed free throws, and that's why we lost the game. Otherwise, we would have been 5-0. The ladies fought very hard. We just we came up a little short, and hey, you can't win them all, even though you could try. And this was just one that we didn't win. Like I said, missed free throws, and Mary Ann Asari was very, very determined to give us a L. So I tip my cap to her, even though I don't know if that was a foul on that last shot that she got and went to the line. But
yeah. So missed free throws. Missed free throws, and I think if you talk about Mariana, we got to talk about Katarina as well, because both of them put up a lot of points which is weird because we have a really stingy defense. So when you see somebody who can score double digits and even eclipse 20 points against us, that's not our normal identity. So yeah, absolutely, I do think that missed free throws will definitely come back when you realize that we probably had the game in hand, and at some points we actually had the lead. So it wasn't like we were fighting to get back into the mix here. So it was definitely a tough loss, but a good learning.
And I'll say this: this was one of the few teams so far early on that I felt matched our energy, and so it was, and it's almost a teaser to the William and Mary when we get to that recap. But I was actually impressed, because it really made our team focus for the full game, because VCU was, every time they needed a clutch basket, like I said, it was either Katarina or it was Mary Ann Asari. Like they met the moment. And so, I appreciate that from a competition standpoint. And I like that that our team had to, to face that. And like you said, to learn, because like I said, we almost had it. But I tip my cap to VCU. They played a hard-nosed game, and they made baskets when they needed to, just like we did. We just ran out of time at the end, and that phantom foul on Mariana, sorry.
Salty much, bro. Salty much.
So here, pull out the W.
So as we get ready to switch to the next game, I do want to shout out Zanaya Thomas. She continues to play as a player who's determined to be recognized as the Meac Player of the Year. 25 points, 8 rebounds is really just right in line with what she's been able to do.
That's a Tuesday. That's a Tuesday.
That's a Tuesday. That's her average now. I do think Zoe Stewart continues to emerge as a threat mid game. Is really sharp, and Ariella. Shout out to Chi-Town. She's really starting to come into her form. More as a scorer right now. I know we're looking for her to distribute the ball and score. So again, seeing all of them play the way they can. Rain Durant. She's sleepy pick for me because every time she comes in, she's ready to put it to work. And so seeing the players starting to emerge and understand their roles, as Ty Grace was explained to us. We're looking forward to sharing some of our interview with her in the next week or so here. But the idea is that for the team starting to emerge in their roles, really cool to see. A loss sucks. I told you that before. I'm not a big fan of losing, but if we learn something because of how the non-conference is set up, this motivated us. So again, I don't want to harp on it. It wasn't, I didn't see this as some sort of flaw in our system or our approach. Is just as you want. If you get the energy match that we're looking for and we don't execute the way we need to, we should be expecting certain outcomes. So good work.
As the master of hyperbole, the Bulls were 72-10 that one year. So hey, you can't win them all. That's how I felt when we lost. I was like, hey, okay, we lost this. Nothing changes here.
So okay, before we go to the next meeting, you're telling me that you went from us being the South Carolina of the Meac and Dawn Staley to we're the Phil Jackson Bulls.
This is business. This is business. I'm standing on it.
You're standing on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so I hope it works out this way. But if for some reason something weird happens in this next week, I'm going to point back to this moment, Chip, because you're the one talking during the free throw shooting, and you didn't mention how they missed some free throws. So now I understand you must have been talking during the free throw line exchanges. So that's okay. Hyperbole accepted. Accepted. So with that, let's move to the next game, because we had to get right after that close game to VCU, and when we did, we made our way up to New Jersey. And we had a chance to compete against Monmouth, a CAA conference opponent. Some of our former Meac schools are now in that conference. Shout out to Hampton Institute and North Carolina A&T competing in that conference. And that was kind of a homecoming for several of our teammates. And what I loved about it was that it felt like everybody felt like they must have invited their families out to see them. So we saw some superb play from the team, really good bounce back game. And as you can see the score, we won 57-44, and we pretty much had it in hand most of the game. So there was never a point where it seemed to ever get too close. So we learned our lesson of let's not mess around. Let's get out there and work. But any key things you're seeing there, Chip? Because it was really cool to see how they kind of shook off the loss and said, let's get a road trip in and get a business win here.
So what I saw, and I probably differ a little bit from you, because I actually used that Spider-Man meme as I was watching the game. I think it's the multiverse where Spider-Man's pointing at another person like, hey, you look like me. Because this to me was a defensive battle that we kind of separated in the third quarter. But really, that was about it, because the first quarter, it was 13-12. Second quarter, 9-6. Fourth quarter, 16-15. So, and, third quarter was 19-11, and that's what allowed, the gap. But watching it, I liked it because just like VCU kind of met us energy-wise offensively, I felt like this could have been a practice for our squad, because the defense that Monmouth played was very good. I mean, the percentages everybody 28%, 25% 3-point line, like it was stingy. So because we have a great defensive team, we were able to kind of outdo them with their defense, and we had a little bit more scoring, which allowed us, to kind of pull away. But really, this was to me it was a very good test, because Monmouth they were determined to play great defense against us, and they did. I think it just kind of ran out of gas in the third quarter. But to me, I thought it was close most of the game.
I mean, you did the math real fast like that. So people not following at home is, we won every quarter.
But hey, the first quarter by 1 point, second quarter only by 3 points. And wait.
But
And the
we
second
won.
quarter was 9-6.
We won every quarter. Chip, what do you want to do? Are you measuring effort versus output too? Like if we win every quarter, the goal is to win every quarter.
Yes.
And
I'm just saying,
shout out to 1911. The Qs just had a Founders Day. Happy Founders Day, bro.
yes,
That's the other side of 1911. I'm on the pretty side. You on the other side. That's cool. But the idea is that if we're looking at the game the way it's set up, it's not just. I get what you're saying. Defense is our hallmark. That's why when we see teams that can score more than 10, 15 points a player, it lets you know that there must be a pretty good team because we play defense in a way that you don't get to see that. We smother. We have a lot of rebounds, and we fight for. We're long where we need to be in terms of being able to get to balls and alter shots. Defense is part of the deal. What I'm also learning here is that this was the game that Destiny Bynum Johnson really started to emerge as a scoring threat. She's usually kind of moving the ball and kind of playing that defense, but it's a bit of a homecoming for her. She's from Jersey, so I think the Jersey folks, Niall Miller and DBJ, they showed up like they have family in the audience. So I do think that we're going to always have defense as a hallmark. So I'm with you there. But as far as having the defense and making it a point to win every quarter, I think that's a bit more dominant because it wasn't luck that we won. We just had to stay the course. And yes, there was a push at the end, and we only got 1 point more than the team, but that's all we needed to maintain the lead. We didn't want ever to get it closer. So I'm with you. I didn't see it as closely as like we couldn't score and all that. It's just, when we're putting our identity together, we talked about this on previous teams from Coach Grace. She actually has the ability to be a bit of an enigma when it comes to what do you have to prepare for. So when Coach Davis and others are putting together their scouting reports for other teams, they're also putting scouting reports on themselves and say, you got to figure out which one of our teams shows up today. Is it the defensive, we don't score a lot? Is it the one that may not make a lot of shots, but they play with a lot of energy? Or do we come out with a barrage of 3-pointers that you can't stop because you think we're just going to throw it down low to Z Payne? I love it. And like I said, coming off of the loss against VCU, I saw this as a very firm commitment to a game plan that we didn't waver from. Even if the score was a little close, we stayed to the game plan, which is play the defense, get the rebounds, and score as you have opportunity. So I'm differing with you because it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. And, tomato. Well, viewers, Bison Nation, what do you think when you? What do you think? Put it in the comments. Do you think it was a closer game than the 57-44 final score, or do you agree with B Smooth's flawed analysis? So
yeah, we should put that to a test. If you believe in B, go ahead and put the like out there. And if you believe in Chip and want him to get help, just put 911 in the chat and we'll get him some help. All right. Let's move along, man. We got one more game to cover here, and again, this was pretty cool to see. At least for us, it was cool to see that with the momentum carried over to another opponent. You teased it out a little bit earlier in the show. We had to see some friends from Virginia come up the road, take 64 up to 95 North and come up and hang out for a little bit in the city, coming out of the Tidewater area. And that's our friends from William and Mary College. And that's another team that it's a pretty good team on paper. They play in a pretty competitive conference, but again, you're gonna have to tell me your stake here, because in being able to watch this game, and we were able to, through the use of technology and access to the media internet at Duke, we were able to watch the ladies game while we were preparing for the Duke game with the men. And so I saw maybe a couple of moments in the second half where it got closer than it should have, but for the most part, it was we handily defeated William and Mary when we played the game we needed to play. So you tell me what you saw, and I'll see how wrong you are.
I'll let you go first, because I got a special treat for my recap. So
okay.
You tell me, and then I see. Tell you. Yes.
Well, I'm wrong here then. Okay, let me take a look here then. So So what I can tell you really quickly is that it was rinse and repeat for me for a couple of folks, right? Shout out to Z Payne, who maintains a double-double average. She was actually very much a factor. I do think that surprisingly, we had a little more offensive output from Nile than we normally do. She's usually more of a rebounder and defender. I know Zoe really came to life and scored for us as well. I think that's part of your secret weapon here. You're going to play against me here. But Emma Nukwe is probably the person that I would point to as a difference maker in the short time she was playing in the game by bringing double-digit scoring. This is, for me, I say rinse and repeat because the defense was there, the intensity was there, and like many of Ty Grace's teams, we're starting to see more and more folks emerge, especially on the offensive side of the floor. So I'm not looking for us to see one or two people that have to carry us. I know Zanaya is definitely a main factor, and what we can do is find those who can complement her when she's not able to get her shots or when people are double teaming her in the post. You got to make all the shots that you're open because she's being double teamed. So I saw it as a pretty clean game.
Yeah, and I'll add before I get to kind of my recap. I'll add to what you're saying and this is what we've talked about so far all season. Like when you mentioned Emma Nukwe, like we have so many people that can get the job done. That seeing her do well in this game is just an example of that. Like I'm not going to be surprised if Dally Marino has a great game, Dylan Watson has a great game, Jada Kendrick has a great game. Like everybody has the potential to do that, and so it was Emma's day. Against William and Mary. So none of that surprised me. None of it.
Okay.
But so here's my analysis, and this is the context because, we were up 15 in this game. And William and Mary got it to within 2. So several times, down the stretch. And it kind of reminded me, it was like a combination of the VCU, matching as well as the Monmouth defense. But instead of me being a blowhard, I'm gonna let you hear from Zoe Stewart, who basically kind of told us what she was expecting and what she felt from this game. So let's hear from Zoe Stewart.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's hear it.
Here we go. Particular challenge did William and Mary present that may have been different than some of the other teams you guys have faced so far?
I think just they were very relentless in their energy. I mean, they really didn't let up, even when they were down. Like it didn't seem like their focus changed. It didn't seem like any of their energy changed. They just stayed the same throughout the whole game. Like nothing was like shaking them at all, regardless of what was going on. So they were really scrappy. Trying to get extra boards, trying to get their hands on balls. I mean, the more they were getting old boards and getting second chance buckets, I think that was something that we haven't really ran into. Usually kind of when we get that lead or we kind of get out in front really early, you can kind of see teams deflate, but they didn't.
So
that was really well done. Shout out to Zoe Stewart. And shout out to you recognizing that you're a blowhard, man. I'm glad. We're going to get you some help soon enough.
But from a preparation standpoint, like she said, it's something they hadn't really seen before. So now they get that experience. So heading into conference play, I think they're going to be just
fine. Oh, wow. Yeah, I love it, Chip. So, and thank you for sprinkling that in. That was part of, for those listening in, Zoe Stewart is part of a clip from After the Buzzer, one of our new features here with Bison Brothers Basketball Podcast. If you're a subscriber to our YouTube channel, you'll get first access to check that out and comment. And please do, because not only do we check it out, but the players actually check it out as well. And they really believe in making sure the fans understand what goes on behind the game. So thank you for bringing that to us, Chip. Really great addition to the program here. So, man, I know it's been moving along here. I know for those of us who are basketball fanatics, it seems like we could talk about this all day. And because of Chip and Ewash and I needing to make this program the best it can be for Howard University and the culture, we do. We talk about it all day long. And the cool part is that with these recaps, there were 6 games we just ran through for you. Please check it out. When we release this on Tuesdays, every Tuesday, we're dropping new episodes. Please take a moment to share what you think, comment. There were a couple of challenges out there. I know that it may sound like we agree a lot more than we do. If you believe Chip is right, then I recommend you keep listening until you get to the right answer. And if you believe I'm right, you can stop right there and just say thank you for thank you for letting me know that I'm on the right path. So what we'll do after the break here, we're going to come into some over under reactions, and then we'll try to close out the show with a couple of challenges and some calls to action for each of our fans, especially those in the DC area. All right. Next up. Yeah. Welcome back to Bison Brothers Basketball Podcast. It's your boy B Smooth, still the lover of all things Howard and the lover of all things basketball. I'm here and graced by the presence of Chip Washington, your number one fanatic of all things Howard hoops. And are we due for another confession soon, man? I think people need to.
My emotions.
It's still brewing. It's still brewing.
Yeah, it's brewing. It's some things that are kind of coming to some more problems are surfacing up. So there probably will be some more confessions soon.
Okay.
So.
Well, like I said, for those who follow us, we have a few episodes of Chip's Confessions. Can you help him? He needs to find the other sports junkies like he is and those who'd like to follow their exes from the basketball program. He's probably spending way more on streaming dollars based on our operating budget because he has to watch all the people who used to play for Howard that are still playing today. Shout out to anybody who's getting a lot more views because of him. And as you heard earlier, we do bring you now a feature that we love is After the Buzzer, which is a quick way to kind of hear from players and coaches. So please tune in. If you're on our YouTube channel and you hit subscribe, you'll get a lot of this access first. We drop everything there before getting it out to the masses. So if you are a fan of Bison Nation, please join us there. So we're at I would say arguably our favorite part of the program because this is our over and under reactions. Again, we take a little bit of information and try to create the most hyperbolic reaction to what we see, usually meaning that we're going to say something that sounds so crazy until it happens. And so we're at that point in the program now. So Chip, would you like to start today, brother? Because you seem to have a few cooking even as we were sitting together in Durham at Cameron Indoor.
Well, I'm gonna call in my head. This is an underreaction.
Okay.
But it might be perceived as an overreaction. But my underreaction, after seeing just 5 games with the men, even with the heavy loss to Duke, I think, and this is a teaser because of what Coach KB said in the post-game press conference at the Duke game. And like I said, I'm not gonna say it because you gotta watch it when we released it. But from what he said at the post-game press conference, with Cedric coming back soon, we're winning the Meac. I like what we're seeing. Everybody gelling, the adversity coming together. It's my underreaction. Like we have more than enough to win the Meac.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll match your underreaction, and I'll raise you too. Especially as our trip wrapped up in Durham, I believe that my underreaction is that by the time we get to conference play, not one, but at least 2 of our freshman players are going to wind up being critical to that championship run, and I believe it'll be the Johnson brothers that'll make that mix. I think Jeremiah, which is not, it's an underreaction, and I believe Julian Shout out to Charlotte home team. What they showed me during the weekend is that they both are ready. They just need the reps. And from a size perspective, no disrespect to your boy Donis, no disrespect to him, but Julian matches up way better with any of the big people we got to face in the conference right now because he can do size on size and he has the skill. Little handsy right now, so we got to get him out of foul trouble. But he's got the skill and the footwork we can work with. But him, the Johnson brothers are going to be critical to whatever championship run we make. So that's my underreaction. Underreaction. Okay.
Yes.
Any overreactions today?
Hey, I got the same overreaction for the women. Like I said, VCU, you got lucky. That's all I'm saying. I still don't see a loss. There's one that I got a little concerned about. We'll get to that. But other than that, I'm scanning the schedule. You can call it overreaction if you want. It's going down.
Well, because of your ability to be hyperbolic most times, it's hard to discern when you're being overreacting or just being normal. I'm still trying to figure that one out, right? It's kind of like our fan, Dunkmaster Flex mom said she thought you were taller because of how hyperbolic you are. She said, I thought he was taller than you. And when I disclosed that, your head is bigger, then she actually understood.
Hey, shout out to Calvin's mom. Thank you.
Calvin Robbins. So overreaction wise, man, on the ladies' side, I believe that my biggest overreaction is that I believe that we're going to see a bit of I'll call it a three-headed monster for the team when it comes to the scoring threats going into the season, right? So we got Zanaya, who's absolutely killing it, and she's going to keep doing that. And because she's doing that, I know she has to be the first one on everybody's scouting report in terms of if we slow her down, we think we can slow down Howard. But Zoe Stewart, Destiny, Rain, and I think Ariella has to distribute more. But if we can get those folks to move and do double-digit scoring because they score from different parts of the floor, it opens up some things where it'll be impossible to stick Zanaya and think that you can stop us. So I do think that we're going to see more from Zoe and Destiny. Those two are going to be what makes everybody say we got to pick a poison. You're either going to beat us from the outside, mid-range, or down low. You can't stop it all.
I'm calling Zoe DeRozan because she's a mid-range assassin.
Not Zoe DeRozan.
Zoe DeRozan, mid-range assassin.
I love it. Yeah, this is awesome, man. So again, if you agree with us, please drop a note in the comments. I know for the true Bison Nation fans, you all have opinions that we value. If you think we're off base somewhere, let Chip know and we'll let him down easy. For me, I'm pretty sure what you say you agree, we can keep rocking with it. But the idea is that this is your show as much as it is ours, and we love the fact that you all are tuning in with us every week and trying to see how we can hopefully will our teams to the championship runs we need. A bonus overreaction for me as we were riding back from Durham is that, because you said it earlier. You said the ladies are going to win the Meac, right? You see it. And you see the fellas are going to win the Meac as well, right?
Yeah.
My overreaction is I'm trying to figure out my travel plans on how I can be at opening games for March Madness because they overlap now. And I just need to make sure that hopefully there's not two random places in the country that you can't get to without a direct flight.
Yes.
So my hope is that they're within range. If they can drive it, cool. But if it's just be an airport they can go from point A to point B, I am willing to go to one game and go to the next game. And if there's another one, I'll go to that. I mean, I'm going back and forth till I can't go anymore. So I'm looking forward to having travel troubles, try to get to two different conference games because that's how good these teams are lining up to be this year. That's my overreaction, though. That's my overreaction.
All right. Yeah, I mean, you're almost pulling one out of me, but I'm gonna save this overreaction.
Well, fair enough. So
Yeah.
we're again, thank you for joining us for this part of the program. If you agree with us, please let us know. If you don't, let us know why. We want to make sure we can learn from everybody who's just as vested in Bison basketball as we are, right? And so we're coming to a bit of a close here. We got a few things to look out for. And before we wrap up the show, Chip, we've been talking about it. The historical significance of this program. We want to talk a little bit about the history the ladies are on the verge of making here, and maybe a call to action. You want to let folks know? Want to let folks know what we're looking for?
So look here, Bison Nation. I'm getting worked up about this, and I'm inspired. I was inspired by Cameron Indoor. So I want you to picture, because we were media and we were inside with exclusive access. The stadium, Cameron Indoor, was packed for Duke playing probably to them unknown Howard University. Duke's used to, North Carolina, Maryland. So their fans packed the house for number 5 Duke to watch our vaulted Howard men Bison. Right now, on the women's side, for us, you're gonna have to hold me back, man. We got Bison Nation. This is some historic stuff going on with the women's team. We're ranked in the mid-major poll. We're 6-1 against not cream puffs. We have beaten some quality teams, and VCU, you got lucky, but we've beaten some quality teams, and we have some more quality teams on the schedule. So I know the women's team can't say this because they're responsible adults. And the coaches, they can't touch this type of language, but I'm a fanatic. So I told you earlier that right now we're number 12 in the mid-major polls. Well, there's a team that is they're either number 4 or number 5. And Bison Nation, we're playing that team. I need you to circle on your calendar December 5th. We're playing the number 4 or 5 ranked Fairfield women's basketball at the Burr. Bison Nation, y'all gotta go. If you're in the DC area, you are witnessing a historic team and a historic run, and it's going to be a clash of the top mid-majors at the Burr. So just like the Duke fans filled Cameron Indoor for a team they probably didn't even know, you got a Duke-like team as your home team, and then Fairfield, who probably thinks they're better than us, is coming into the Burr. Bison Nation, we need to pack the Burr. Y'all are watching history unfold. You don't want to be behind on this story. Get in the Burr, circle it on your calendar, December 5th at noon in the Burr. Bison Nation, I don't want to plead, but I'm pleading. Please show up and support this team. Now, like I said, I'm circling it. I can't go too far ahead because we got to play Purdue and Syracuse before we play Fairfield, but E-Wash is not here to stop me, so bulletin board material, I'm not worried about Purdue and Syracuse. Mincemeat. But Fairfield could present a challenge, and that's why we need Bison Nation in the Burr. Spread the word. If you're in the DMV area, the community, we need y'all in the Burr.
Love that.
I can't say it enough.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's circle it, pack the Burr. Noon, December 5th, Friday after Black Friday. We're going to make sure that we do what we can. I know there's a youth day, so we should have a lot of kids there, but let's pack it in. Let them know that they're coming to the House of Champions. And so thank you, Chip. Thank you for setting us up for that. I know for us, we're coming to the close of another recap show, man. This thing is rolling right now. I will say, as we get ready to let people know how to close out with us, Chip. Just want to let people know that in addition to the game next Friday, stay tuned for the release of part 1 of our interview with Coach Ty Grace. We were able to catch up with her during homecoming week. And after, a little bit of time that she gave us after some of the practices with the team, she sat down with us for a really hearty interview. For those who don't know much about her or what motivates her or even kind of her style and philosophy, she gave us some time and really want to make sure we start to share that, especially in this historic season. So we'll be dropping episode 1 of that mini series on Friday the 5th. And also, if my friend can work it out with his schedule, we're going to do a bit of a live, either pregame or potentially postgame after that game with Fairfield because of how historic it is. So we're going to do something live. So tune in. You'll get a chance to kind of interact. And again, we'll have some of the players on the show as well as anyone else we can pull to make sure that people can celebrate the right way. So maybe that's because we're media now, right? You got to do media things. That means we got to talk about things after the fact. So Chip, before we get out of here, man, let's let people know why they should continue to rock with the Bison Brothers Basketball Podcast.
Bison Nation, you should continue to rock with this podcast because you're going to get behind the scenes stories about these championship teams. Continue to, they need your support. They need your support. We got it scrolling right now for the women's team, the donate link for the women's NIL. We have the men's team. I got that going now in the donate link for the men's team, name, image, and likeness collective, the Meac Society. Please donate to the Meac Society. You can also donate through the Bison Express Booster Club at hubison.com, just as important. And you can give to FanStake. Go to fanstake.com and use the code MECA25. Y'all, they need you. They need you. Continue going to the games. Definitely February the 5th of December with Fairfield. Keep packing the house and continue to tell everybody about this podcast because we're working hard to bring you the stories that need to be told about Howard University basketball. So you can hear us on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple, and follow us on Instagram at Bison Brothers Basketball. So as we're coming to the end of this show, Be Smooth, you know how we're going to end this thing. We're going to end it like we end all of our shows. And that's with a big old H. You know.